So I think you've answered this a few times in the editor hacks, like in the back. But
oh, well then ask again.
just something, yeah, why not?
Go ahead.
But anyways,
just let the panel end.
did you anticipate getting as much flack for Carl's eye after that whole thing happened? Because when it first happened, the pictures.
Is that a spoiler for anyone?
You probably see it.
No offense, I'm just checking.
Yeah. So, but anyways, I mean, it looked pretty bad. Like it looked gruesome, but as it's kind of evolved, like I think in the last few episodes, we've seen it more since he's taken the bandage off, and it doesn't look as bad. And I know some people kind of came back to him like, hey, he was kind of like missing much more.
Well, there's some shadows there. I think people misread the art from when he was shot. Like it looks like a little bit more of his head was missing than actually was. But,
yeah, because that was the thing. Is like when it first happened, like you were like, yeah.
But it looked cool, right? It looked really cool. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I always anticipate flack at this point. Like anytime I do anything in the book, I'm like, people are gonna complain about this. But I don't know. I mean, I always seem to get a lot of letters like, I can't believe you did this. This sucks. But then they'll write back like 2 months later and be like, oh, that changed my mind. It's awesome. So I just kind of try to like do what I do. But it's hard to anticipate like what people are gonna be upset about. And you know, I thought everybody would love the tiger, but there's like 5% of the audience that just can't stand the tiger. And those people can kiss my butt, so.
Well, yeah, in regards to the tiger, I love the tiger, but it is weird that you would keep
totally
it, because, and I think he answered it too, that you would need to feed it what 5 people would eat, you know, so.
Sure, I don't know. Right?
I would think.
It all makes sense, leave me alone.
Okay, so now that you're working with both the television format and the comic format, is there anything that you find more evocative in terms of storyline or character development that works on the screen better than it does in the comics, or is there anything that you prefer, you know, in terms of evoking emotions on the page rather than you do on the screen?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, you can do more with less on the show just because you have the actors to like give facial expressions and they don't have to like talk as much, so it was sometimes hard for me to like realize that, you know, just because when you're dealing with still images in comics, you kind of have to, you know, go a little bit further to make sure that, you know, what you're trying to do comes across. And I love like having motion and sound for things in the show. Like it just really opens things up, and we're able to, you know, like do cooler things and you know, different things that I think is really cool. I mean, there are things that we can only do in the comic that wouldn't really work in the show, and so I think there are benefits to both. So it's fun to be able to, you know, work in both mediums and see like, oh, this works in the show and this is really cool, and I can never do that in the comic, and then it's like, oh, I can do this in the comic, and that just wouldn't play in the show. So it's I don't know, I enjoy it.
So I have another Carl question. We've obviously seen him evolve. He's kind of become more of a man. He's growing up. But when he tried to kill Negan, that's not the first time that he's like been violent, right? He's committed murder before.
He's troubled.
Yeah. But that's kind of like there's no real evolution for him aside from like the eye thing. He kind of became, I think, jaded way before he tried to kill Negan. Is there ever a point where he's gonna be like, oh, fuck you, Rick, I'm sick of you, and like leave his dad?
Yeah, he's gonna kill Rick next issue. What do you want me to say? I think there's still definitely places for him to go, and that evolution is going to continue. I think, you know, he's getting older. Terrible things continue to happen to him, but
Because of Rick, I think that.
maybe because of Rick. I don't know. I don't put too much weight on the guy. Have you dealt with the zombie apocalypse before? You don't know how to do it. Yeah, I mean, come on. That guy's doing the best he can. Anyway, how dare you? But no, I mean, I don't know. I think you know, Rick is going to be treating him a little differently moving forward, especially going into this war. He's going to be a lot more capable. He's going to be trusted with a lot more, and that might be a bad idea. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay. Thank you.
Hey, so Negan's a pretty ferocious guy, and I was wondering if when you're writing his dialogue, if the voice that you hear in your head is kind of like matching it as far as like depth and gravel goes, or if it's like ironically high pitched.
Yeah, it's basically Pee Wee Herman's voice in my head. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really really think about the sound of their voice very much, so it hasn't really come to me. I don't know. I would imagine it's somewhat deep, but I don't know that it would necessarily be gravelly. It might sound like my voice.
We can substitute.
Most of the voices sound like my voice.
All right, thanks, man.
Thank you.
I'm a fan of the comic, the games, and the TV show in that order. I know Glenn made a brief appearance in the games. Are there any plans to bring any characters from the TV show or from the comic into the games? Or
I wouldn't want to spoil anything, but you can possibly expect some more Easter eggs like that coming up. But I'm not going to confirm anything. But yeah, I mean, we like to do those kind of fun things, and I think it is like a cool payoff to the fans, who read the comic that are actually playing the games. And we'd like to do more of it.
Sure, thanks.
Hi.
Hello.
My question is, how is Rick and the rest of the group going to react when they find out that Megan is actually working for Ezekiel?
That's not happening. It'd be a good twist, though. Man, oh man.
Hey,
I acted like I was writing it down. He had his back turned. What's up?
hey, thanks for coming out. I think
thanks.
2 questions I'd like to ask them. Are there going to be any more webisodes for season 4?
I believe there are, but don't quote me on that. I'm like 90% sure that there will be, but I feel like I'm possibly announcing something I shouldn't be announcing yet. But whatever, it's Comic-Con! Let's have some fun!
We enjoy them and we'd like to see them.
Cool.
Okay. Next question is AMC trying to sabotage the show by firing all the executive producers every season?
Yes. It's in their vested interest to do that.
Should Scott Kimball be updating the resume?
I think Scott will do just fine, but if he doesn't, well...
Okay, 6-1. Okay, thanks.
My question is, I know like Daryl Dixon in the show, like his popularity just blew up out of nowhere. Like, I mean,
Daryl Dixon, everybody!
I always loved Norman Reedus as an actor, and when I saw him in there, I thought he was just great, and I loved his character. And
Well, I like Daryl Dixon. I'm not too hot on Norman Reedus.
I've heard a lot
Totally
of
hot on Norman Reedus. Who are we kidding? Anyway.
I've heard a lot of talk that you might introduce Daryl Dixon's character into the comics. Have you ever thought of doing that?
I mean, I thought about it, but in the end, I like that there's certain things that you can only get from different mediums. So, like, you've got Lee Everett and all those characters in the video game, and they only exist in the video game. And you've got guys like Daryl Dixon and Merle and some of the other characters that only exist in the show. And I think it's and there's characters in the comic that just won't make it into the show. And I think it's cool that when you go across these different mediums, there is something special and unique to each one of them. So I feel like it would, to a certain extent, kind of ruin things to have Daryl in the comic book, but, you never know, but it's probably never going to happen. But you never know, but it's never going to happen.
Hello, Robert.
Breathe, you'll be all right. It's all good.
You're great.
We're all friends here.
Okay, so I have a question. Do you have at some point showing what's going on out the world? Like, is there hope there? Is there the world is doomed or something?
Well, I mean, are you talking about like showing other parts
Like
of the
other
world?
continents?
Yeah, other continents. I know that in the show we mentioned that there were things going on in France and that it was pretty much confirmed to be a worldwide phenomenon. But for the comic, I've always tried to stay coy with it because I like the idea of like a bunch of people in Australia that are like, well, I'm just not talking to anybody on the phone in those other countries because they're all screwed. But other than that, we're just fine here. So I like the mystery of it, and I'm sure that at some point, eventually, there will be a bigger picture and people will know what's going on. But I love the fact that the story is like laser focused on these people and their experiences, and you really don't even know what's going on the West Coast, let alone other countries.
Also, can you autograph my #1 comic?
Nope.
The Walking Dead?
Sorry. No, I'll do it. Bring it over. But no one else.
I actually haven't read or watched the
the show, I'm here with friends. So for people who want to get into the series, would you recommend watching or reading first?
Watching, definitely watching. I mean, I'm very proud of the fact that the show doesn't spoil the comic and the comic doesn't spoil the show. So if it's going to take you 6 months to get around to reading the comic, but you might watch the show this week, watch the show. But, you know, either way, these people say reading, so I'm just going to say reading so there's like a mob or anything.
This question is actually from my daughter, who's an avid fan, but she had to take her boys over to the Xbox room.
You sound like an avid fan to me.
Yeah, her boys are great, but, you know, after a whole
Why
day.
didn't you take the boys to the Xbox room? Why didn't someone ask me? I could have worked this out.
So I'm taking them to the Crab Shack on Saturday.
Okay. I hope they enjoy that. The Crab Shack is pretty good.
The question is, how are you so nice when your comic is so brutal?
I don't know if you've been paying attention during this panel. I'm pretty pointed with a few people. And sometimes I regret it because I'm trying to crack jokes and I'm like, that guy hates me, he's going to punch me after this. I don't know. But I don't know, I feel like I get it all out on the page. But yeah, I mean, I'm making stuff up. Like, I'm not like a lot of people meet me and they're like, wow, I really expected like a quiet, brooding type. You know, I didn't expect you to be so cheerful. And you know, I don't know. I mean, it's just like stories I'm making up. It's not like it's like part of my life that I, you know, have like issues that I'm getting through. But there are some issues that I'm getting through. Let's be honest. But I don't really know. I don't know how to answer your question, so I'm just gonna keep talking until this panel's over. Thank you very much.
Hello. I'm not sure if this is the right time to ask this, but
Well, go for it.
before the panel, your Skybound put out this picture, and I haven't seen anything to do with this. So
Yeah, that's a
thought I'd
teaser.
ask
It's
you.
meant to intrigue.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm asking. What is the teasing?
It's a teaser. You're supposed to be like, what is this? I have no idea what this is.
That's what I'm doing, man.
I gotta know what this is. But I can't tell you what it is. That ruins it. There will be another one tomorrow and another one the next day, and then you will possibly know what it is at the Skybound panel.
Are you
We'll
promising?
announce what that is at the Skybound panel.
Is
So
that a
if you guys
promise?
want to, huh?
Is that a promise?
Yeah. Oh, that's set in stone. Set in stone. So check the internet. There's a teaser today, teaser tomorrow, teaser the day after tomorrow, whatever day that is, and then on that day, whatever day that is that Saturday? Is today Thursday?
Yeah.
All right. It's Comic-Con. I have no clue. It could be 2 in the morning right now, and I wouldn't know it. Like I would walk off stage and someone would be like, "Gosh, it's already 3 in the morning," and I'd go, "Oh, okay." I have no idea. But anyway, we'll be announcing that at the panel. So if you want to look at your program and go to the Skybound panel, please do. But the announcement will be online, so you don't have to.
Hi, Robert. As an Australian, thank you for leaving us the hell alone. I'll give that thanks on behalf of the entire country. There's not a lot of us. Thank you.
You represent like what, 4% of the population? 8%?
About 17 other people there. That's about it.
Very cool. Very cool.
Just wanted to ask, I heard about Stephen King and his writing style, but he says, in the morning, that's his writing, that's where he works on his projects, then afternoon is letters, evening is whatever the hell he wants to do, Red Sox games, the whole thing. Do you have a
Jealous.
Do you have a particular style? Do you have a particular time of day? Do you, or does inspiration come and you just go, right, gotta crank it out now?
It's just all hours of the day. I mean, a lot of times I'll get up early and I'll get some writing done before I have to go in the writer's room, but sometimes I'm catching a flight, so I'll write on the plane. Sometimes I'm at Comic-Con, I have to do a bunch of stuff, and then I'll write a little bit at night after the con. I'm not writing anything tonight, it's a complete lie. You know, it's just all hours of the day. Like, sometimes I have to watch my kids, and so I'm at my kitchen table writing while they break each other's arms, because I'm not watching them. Don't tell my wife. You know, I don't know, it's a mess. It's a mess. I wish I could wake up and like just write for like 4 or 5 hours or whatever Stephen King does, but he's, you know, better than me for a reason. So
Thanks very much.
maybe someday I'll get to that.
Thanks very much. Thanks for 10 great years, and here's the 10 more.
Thank you. Oh, 10 more. Hold on.
Hey, so I'm here with my friend who can't attend Comic-Con this year.
No one
but
comes to
really
this
loves
panel.
her. Yeah, I know. It's such a shame. I know. she's-
Good panel format. I'm a big fan. I'm just joking.
She's all the way
I don't care.
everywhere. So she sent me these texts and she wants me to ask these questions for you.
Okay.
To you.
How many? Is it like 30 questions?
No, it's 2.
All right, that's
But
good.
she wants to know if the group would be more inclined to live life on the road or try to settle down again due to the negative experiences that they've had.
I think settling down is definitely the answer. I mean, that's where they seem to survive the longest when they're, in the prison or in Alexandria. So I think that's always the ideal situation. It may not always be possible due to circumstances like Negan or something else, but I think, the idea is that they would try to stay in a central location whenever they can.
Okay, and the second one is, who
Are you writing this down? You
No,
gotta get this down.
she's videotaping it actually.
Oh, okay. Oh, great.
Who wears the pants and Glenn and Maggie's relationship next season?
I'm sorry, I was doing like a hand motion.
Oh, okay.
You said something about Glenn and Maggie?
Yeah, who wears the pants? And
Who wears the pants?
Yes.
Oh, Maggie, clearly.
Okay, thank you.
We out of questions again? Wait, how many more minutes we got? I saw like a... Come on, dude. Help me out. 5-ish? All right, you want me to just riff? Just riff? You guys don't want to ask questions? Am I not answering questions the way you like? What's up?
If you had one, well, it's a two-part question. If you have one, what's your favorite story? And
My favorite story?
yeah, like not just
The Giving Tree. It's so sad. I read it to my son and he's like, why are you crying like that? The kid got everything he wanted. I don't know why. And I'm like, oh, I'm raising a terrible kid.
And my second part was, what inspired you to make your story in a zombie apocalypse?
I think it's just a fun world to play in. I mean, I love seeing, I love apocalyptic stories. I love the idea of civilization crumbling and, what do we do, I often think about the structure of modern society and how it may have been a mistake. Like that whole, I don't know, I go out and I grow food and then I eat it. And then I hang out in my cabin and then eventually we were like, no, I'll have someone else make my food and I'll work and I'll pay for that. Like, what? Why did we do that? And so, I don't know, I think about this stuff it just seems very interesting to me. And the zombie apocalypse in particular, it just seems like a really rich, well of I can do all kinds of different things and tell all kinds of different stories, within the parameters of that kind of story. The Giving Tree!
My question is about the Dixons. Since they're not in the comic books, why did you incorporate them into the TV show?
Well, that was something that came from the writer's room in the first season and from Frank Darabont. Merle was in the second episode, and then we ended up... actually, the story is that Norman Reedus tested for Merle, but Michael Rooker got the role, and we all loved Norman Reedus so much that we ended up creating another character for him. So that's kind of where it all came from. It's the hair. Those little dangly things.
Hi, I'm a
It works for him, I don't know.
I'm a newbie to your comic books, but I always watch the show. I am curious to know how the storyline came to you. I mean, were you influenced since you were a young boy with all, different books that you were reading, shows that you watched? Or did certain things come to you in dreams, and then from there you were inspired?
Dreams, sure. Look, the main thing was I love zombie movies. I hated how they ended. I just thought, they went off in a helicopter, and where did they go? I want to know where they went. I want to know where they landed and what happened when they landed and how they carried on and if they met anyone else and what they were like and if they had pizza. Could they have pizza? It seems like you could make pizza in this world. I just thought that it would be, there wasn't any other long-term people are going to survive for years and years in this story and we're going to watch that, I just thought it would be fun to do. And dreams.
show and the comic have obviously like diverged from each other, or at least the show's not caught up to the comic yet. Is the show like destined to kind of follow the comic as closely as it can? Or like, you know, they're talking about Glenn, and I'm kind of bummed about that, but is he destined to die in the show now, or?
No, I think the show has proven that characters that have died in the comic may not die in the show, and characters that have not died in the comic are totally dying in the show all the time. Like, you know, it's something that it's something I think is really cool. I mean, I think that the coolest aspect of the Walking Dead comic is that when you sit down to read an issue, you have no idea what's going to happen. And I wanted that to be true of the show, even if you've read the comic. And you know, I think it's so much fun for me to be like, they're never going to expect us to kill that person. But I don't know. Neither of them like really dictate the other one. Like, it's not set in stone that the things that are in the comic will make it into the show, but they will always, the show will always, you know, borrow from the comic and adapt the comic. It'll just always be in like cool and interesting ways that you wouldn't expect.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here with us tonight, man.
I am rethinking it.
I have a question about Negan. He's probably like my favorite comic book character at the moment.
Awesome. Suck it, Spider-Man!
How did you think of the idea for his character, and will we ever get any like backstory on what his life was like before the apocalypse?
I answered this question earlier, didn't I? It was like a terrible
I came in a couple minutes late, so
well,
my
then
apologies.
that's your fault. No. Yeah, I mean, we'll definitely explore his backstory, you know, a little bit, assuming he doesn't die. Was that word for word? I just want to make sure that was right.
I appreciate it, thank you.
Awesome. Well, we'll know a lot more about him eventually, before he dies, and then he'll die.
So I have a pretty simple question. What's your favorite comic series and TV show happening right now that's not Walking Dead?
Savage Dragon has been my favorite comic forever, and not forever, around forever, but for a long time. I really enjoy that book. My favorite like modern comic that just started, I think, is probably Manhattan Project. I think the comic is totally crazy. I gotta say Saga is fantastic. I love Saga. But Manhattan Project is better. But I think not really. But anyway, as far as TV show goes, Breaking Bad, super excited. And I actually really enjoy Sons of Anarchy. It's probably my favorite show on TV. We done? Want to wrap it up now? I gotta say, I'm just gonna end this panel really quick, but I just want to say that I am extremely disappointed in all of you. The fact that there were dead spots in the, this is an Image First #1. I thought it was an actual Walking Dead #1. It's hardly even worth my time to sign this. You know, look, I rely on you people for these panels, and I don't prepare for them at all in any way whatsoever. And when I don't have questions, I'm sorry about that. It puts a tremendous amount of pressure on me, and it's something I'm certainly not prepared for. And I don't feel like we're doing our equal share in this endeavor. You know, it's a give and a take, it's a push and a pull, and I expected more from you people. And emphasis on if we do this again next year, I expect better. Thank you very much.